Welcome to the Rock Lansing interview. I have Gabby from Black Note Graffiti. Welcome.
Hey, how's it going, people?
Good. I'm doing well today. How are you?
I'm doing pretty all right. Doing good.
So so recently or like last year in October, you guys released your new album, Resist the Divide,
Yeah.
which I feel is right on point and current with how our current climate is going.
hmm
Um, and my question is, with that album, like, since the release, how's the reception been, and what's kind of been like the feedback you've got from it?
Yeah. I mean, since the release, obviously most positive feedback because people are nice. Nothing too negative, which is great. But yeah, no, I mean, recording it with Josh was awesome. That was such a great experience, and he's just a great producer. It's interesting to see how people interpret it because obviously art is subjective. So people having their own meanings to each song and what they think it's about and how it resonates with them. That's really cool to see. Because when you're in the studio or writing it, you think of your own thing and then but you kind of leave it up for interpretation. So other people's interpretation of it has been pretty cool to see and hear about.
And before we kind of get delve too deep into it, I just kind of curious, like, as a band, like, what are some of the bands that were like influences on you guys?
Um, I know at least for this record, I would say for myself personally, a lot of Deftones because I love Deftones. I love Chino. It was funny. We were in the studio with Josh. Whenever I wanted his part to sound kind of Deftony, I'd be like, "Hey, can you turn on the Deftones filter?" Which is essentially just like a flange almost. And so like a lot of Deftones inspiration. I know Ricardo. He does a lot of writing too as well. So he's influenced by a lot of punk bands. So yeah, yeah, I would say Deftones, and I think At the Drive-In is one of his favorite bands. So
Yeah.
uh,
What
yeah,
what is your favorite Deftones album?
Diamond Eyes, Diamond Eyes, or uh, what is it? Some Saturday Night Riffs. Yeah, those two.
Those are like later albums, aren't they?
Diamond Eyes is newer than Saturday Night Riffs. I think it came out like 2019, 20.
Okay. Yeah.
Not brand new, but newer. But yeah, both great albums. Not just like lyrically and obviously Chino's vocals, but the instrumentation's really cool too. They do a lot of very slick time signatures that you wouldn't think were in 11 because they sound like they're in 8, and it's just like super cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I would, the Deftones are definitely progressive, that's for sure. What other is there other progressive rock bands that have been influenced on you guys?
Um, you know, it's I can only speak for me personally because I feel like everyone in this band listens to such a wide variety of music. Like I know Chris, he's really into like reggae, which is you wouldn't think that, but he is. He loves reggae. But for me personally, this isn't a progressive rock band. I really like Meshuggah. They're one of my favorite bands of all time. Believe it or not, one of the songs on there is inspired by them, even though you wouldn't think it is. um, but yeah, Meshuggah, they're not progressive, but I'm not really too into a lot of different types of rock bands, believe it or not. I listen to a lot of jazz, a lot of contemporary music, and a lot of like IDM type drum and bass type music.
Hmm.
Along with, I don't really have a lot of rock bands that I'm into. Loathe is a great band if you ever heard of them. They're not progressive rock. They're more on the metal side, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just kind of my personal taste. Like I'm a big Rush fan. Love Dream Theater. Love Queensryche. Love Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
All those type of bands. And but I like more like I guess modern prog rock bands too. But yeah, that those are I don't know. I always think it's fun to push the envelope and just um make different sounds, and
Yeah,
it's always cool to have something that's different. But
definitely.
I was kind of looking on like Spotify. It seemed the song "The Source" is kind of like the one that's been listened to the most at the most plays.
Yeah.
What's the inspiration behind that song, and how did you guys like come up with that?
Yeah. So the inspiration behind that song, um, the meaning at least is just about if you're someone who struggles with an addiction, whether it be something big or something small, that kind of feels like your source of fulfillment in a negative way, and about overcoming that and not having that basically be the thing that feeds you. Actually, the name of the album, Resist the Divide, is a lyric from the bridge of the source, because I like that kind of ties in all the songs that are on the record. Um, so yeah, that one definitely musically was inspired by the Deftones as well. Especially the part in the chorus where the drums kind of go on the upbeats. That was inspired by the Deftones, the song Prince off of Diamond Eyes, how they go on the upbeats on the verses, which is like super slick. um, so yeah, that. And yeah, I think that one also, a lot of it was written in the studio as well. We wrote some of it obviously outside of the studio, but I feel like a lot of the finishing pieces were in the studio, especially the drums. So yeah, that song is one of my favorite songs on the record.
I would say probably my favorite song on the record is "Drowned." I feel like that song you really show your versatility of your voice, and it starts out very beautifully. Um, and like, what's kind of like the how did that song kind of come together?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Drown, that was one of the first songs that we wrote for the record. That song was wrote honestly before we even formed the record because we've been playing it obviously for a few years now. And that Ricardo actually wrote that one, music, lyrics, and all, because he's just a genius when it comes to that stuff. He wrote it after he had a dream, and he kind of told me what it was about. It's pretty personal, so I don't want to put his business out there.
Yeah,
So,
no, it's
but
cool. Yeah.
really like the message that he put behind it. Um, and it's awesome to be able to sing his lyrics. One, because he's a great writer, but two, because I like to internalize someone else's story and kind of bring that conviction, even if I didn't write the words. So yeah, that's a great song. When I remember when we first started just playing it together, a lot of the times was trying to not to come to tears because of just how intense the song is,
Mm.
and being that I know what it's really about. So yeah, that's a good song. I'm glad that one's your favorite because yeah, it's one of the OG songs, I guess you could say.
I, there's a lot of depth there, like sonically and I feel like lyrically, there's a lot of depth there, and I feel like a lot of the songs on the album, you guys show like a more like wider range of sound. It doesn't like every song doesn't have I say like a standard sound. I feel like you guys change it up quite a bit, which is cool to see, and the variety of sound and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I probably say I feel like this is probably the most collaborative album that we've had as a band, as us five. Because I mean, when Black Note first started, it was just Chris, Kurt, and Rick, and then I joined maybe like 7 years ago, and we released a two-sided EP. I didn't really do too much of the writing on that because I was still kind of newer and kind of finding my space in the band. And that was actually a lot of the first time I sung a lot of those songs. Like right there in the studio was the first time I sung a lot of those songs. So this album like is the most collaborative because I feel like we all wrote and we knew what the direction was before getting into the studio.
So how many albums have you guys done, like full albums at this point?
Ooh, I was four. This is the fourth one.
Okay,
Volume 1, Volume 2, and then the two-sided EP, which is technically also Volume 3, and then there's this one, so four. And I've just been a part of the most two recent two. But we
great.
sing songs from the first two albums, but I sing them, and they have an interesting, different type of spin on them as they get older, which is cool.
And when you take over those songs that kind of you weren't didn't have any part of creating, do you feel like you have to put your own spin on it, or do you try to keep it traditionally to what it sounded like originally?
To a degree, I definitely put my own spin on it because I feel like that's why they wanted me in the band to be
Yeah.
myself, got to do my thing. But to a degree, I'm not gonna change any of the lyrics unless it's maybe like the way a lyric sounds. But I'm not gonna change any of the words because I want to respect what Ricardo wrote before I was in the band. So, but the way things are sung and kind of how they're enunciated, yeah, I definitely do my own little thing to it.
So, your the current video, your most current video, "The Place You Lie," is that correct? That's your guys' current video?
Yep.
Did you guys come up with like the like how the creativity of the video or the um did you guys come up with the vision of what the video was going to be, or did you have like a director do that?
At first we just had the idea that we wanted a white background, everybody doing their thing. And Wombat, who actually did the videography and the editing and all that stuff in the production, he put the final pieces all together and actually created the visual that you see because that's not what we had in mind, but we loved it. Like it wasn't like
Mhm.
we were like, oh, just do what you want. Like this is kind of what we are kind of going for, but we know you're awesome, so just kind of do what you want. And so we weren't expecting what we got back, but we loved what we got back. So we were like, okay, this is sick. So yeah, definitely all those crazy visuals, everybody going into like 5 different sets of people and all that stuff. Like that was all Wombat's idea. So that was super cool. Yeah, we just kind of showed up. He's like, all right, just stand here, stand on this X, and just go crazy. And we're like, okay. So yeah, it
That,
was really
that
cool.
that's cool. Do you guys have a plan for turning any of the other songs on the album into a video?
Hopefully, I will hope so. Like the song Eulogy, I think that'd be a cool video because that song is about putting your old self to rest, like burying your old self who you used to be. So I thought it'd be cool to maybe have a video one day where you're like looking at over yourself in like a casket or something cool like that. So that'd be dope. But no plans, but it's kind of been talked about.
Like like putting your like inner child to rest, or
Like who you used to be before you escaped the source or whatever. So
yeah.
yeah, something like that would be sweet.
I absolutely love that you guys cover White Rabbit. I'm a huge Jefferson Airplane fan. I mean, I think Grace Slick just has a fantastic voice. Jefferson Airplane, but definitely not Jefferson Starship. That's not my jam. But the why did you guys like choose like White Rabbit of like a song to do a cover of?
Yeah, it was a few years ago that we were performing in some winter festival, and I think at that time it was the anniversary of that song. And then I think we were like, oh, it'd be cool to cover it just because, and then we were just gonna do it for fun. But people liked it so much, and they kept asking for it every like other show. So we were like, okay, well, let's just record it and let's just put it out there. So yeah, it was supposed to just be a one-time thing, but it ended up being a whole song on Spotify. So.
That's uh that's really cool that kind of something you're just like, yeah, we're just doing this, and then it kind of turns into something more. That's always happy accident when that happens. That's always fun. I guess the last thing I just kind of want to talk about the kickoff show, um, and just kind of like talk about like have you played with any of the bands before, and
Yeah,
just tell little bit about like kind of how you're feeling about the show coming up.
yeah, definitely played with Heartsick before. Alfonso and all them, Barrick and everybody, they're all great people. Um, super dope band. We played once with a Virtue. It was like a while ago at the Sanctuary, I believe. Um, I can't remember. I don't think we played with any other bands, maybe, but those are the two that most. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
The yeah, it's Let It Rot and Accuser of the Brethren.
Yeah, no, yeah, we played with Let It Rot at last year's Homegrown Throwdown at the Grewal. Uh,
Okay.
that was cool. They're nice dudes. So yeah, everybody on that night's super chill. So excited.
Yeah. Yeah, I those two bands are a little bit heavier. Probably even a Virtue I would say is a little bit heavier. I mean, you guys are heavy, but like Accuser is
No,
I
we're
mean,
not. We're probably the most least heavy band there. We probably got a little bit of screaming here and there, but we're the most happy band there. Happy
yeah.
sound.
No, I'm excited. Like I saw your guys. I think it was like on Facebook. I saw like one of your music videos, and I was like, skirt. Oh shit! I was like, I gotta check this out, and I was like, yeah, I need to bug this band. It's like the right fit for what we're trying to do. So, I'm just like in our the Rock Lansing, I created like a Spotify playlist. I put like your guys' whole album in there,
Nice.
sprinkled through the 10 hours of 10 hour playlist. So, um, but yeah, I mean, I think your guys' new album is fantastic from start to finish, and I just hope that other people get to listen to it and hope they enjoy it as much as I do.
Well, sick. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I just want to thank you for coming on, and yeah, I'm excited about the kickoff show, and it's gonna be sweet, and you know, kind of the setup for the Rock Lansing, but it's gonna be fun, and I think we'll have a great crowd out there, and it'll be a really fun show.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. We're excited.
Cool. Well, thanks for taking the time today, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Paul.